And as you know, we are 1 week out from voting day, and here at ABC News, you can guarantee that we will stay on ballot watch, being your eyes and your ears on Election Day, and even before that. We've been preparing for everything and anything when it comes to election integrity and your vote. We're talking voting machines, mis and disinformation, possible protests to delayed results, and those are just some of the issues. And then there's keeping an eye on Donald Trump. He's already speaking out about potential voter fraud in Pennsylvania, despite county officials not finishing their investigations yet.
There are some bad spots in Pennsylvania where some serious things have been caught or in the process of being caught, but the election itself is going very well.
Well, these claims come after officials in Lancaster County said they identified hundreds of potentially fraudulent voter registration applications. Commissioner Ray D'Agostino, the chairman of the Board of Elections in Pennsylvania, joins me now for more. Ray, so glad to have you. Let's talk, first of all, about what the former president is talking about, and what is the Board of Elections doing right now to address these claims of voter fraud in your state?
Well, thank you for having me on. I do have to say this is an ongoing investigation, so I'm going to be limited to some degree of what I'm going to be able to tell you. But I will say what we have found is 2 large batches of voter registration forms came over 2 days, a Friday and a Monday, right before the close of voter registration deadline here in Pennsylvania. They were suspicious. Our staff immediately noticed some things that were suspicious, namely at first that there were applications for voter registration that were in the same handwriting and also almost identical signatures. At that point, our staff contacted myself as chairman of the Board of Elections and also our district attorney to begin an investigation. That investigation is still going on. There are about 2,500 of these applications that are currently being reviewed. Also, we're not the only county. Apparently 3 other counties have had a very similar situation. They're also investigating.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate you just confirming it. Tell us, and also telling us exactly what you're doing. But it's interesting how you guys realized right away that something wasn't right. So I'm curious just about the protocol, the standing operating procedure, just knowing what we went through last time around. And now there's a lot of concern this time around as well about election security. What are you doing? What type of precautions are you putting in place? And are you doing anything extra this time around just to be absolutely on top of everything?
Well, like any process, we get better as we go through the process. Remember that mail ballot voting here, no excuse mail ballot voting, has been a thing since 2020, which was the first presidential election since Act 77 made no excuse mail ballot voting legal here in Pennsylvania. And in 2020, of course, we had what I call the Great Disruption, the COVID-19 situation. We had a lot of folks who were wanting to vote by mail, not knowing whether or not the polls are going to be open because our state government, our governor at the time, was shutting down some businesses and other things. So people really wanted to vote, obviously, and we learned a lot during that time period. We had gone through the process of making sure that we have internal controls throughout the entire process. We've been perfecting that ever since, getting new equipment, faster equipment, more staff to help out. So we have learned a lot, and we have put in, like I said, internal controls throughout the entire process. And the good news is they work. We see here that our staff, who are just phenomenally dedicated to their work, and they get it. We here in Lancaster County have talked about elections as making sure that they meet 3 principles: veracity, integrity, and transparency. Everything we do must meet those 3 things. And so when we put those practices in place to meet those principles, this is what you find, that folks in our office detect these things and immediately know the protocol, know what to do. That's the key message here. And like I said, other counties have detected this as well. It looks like it's part of a large-scale operation. Our district attorney has mentioned that. She's investigating that, and apparently others are investigating this as well. And so I think the message is that what we have in place works.
So the DA is on it, clearly. You have these internal controls. So I'm curious, as commissioner and only 1 week away from Election Day, what are you the most concerned about right now?
Well, I think most of us are concerned about information and misinformation getting out there. As soon as we put out this report, we started hearing back that it was the other things that not necessarily voter registration application. And that's easy to do when folks are having a hard time verifying. And that's just the nature of where we are today. There's a lot of interest in this. And there's a high volume of information going out. So we tell people to make sure that they verify the information. And the best way to do that is to go to the source. So if you want to know what's going on, you could go to our website, give our Board of Elections a call, and we can verify what the answers are to people's questions. So I think that's the thing that really we've got to make sure that we clamp down on, and that is, let's make sure we get the right information out there. It's easy to in a vacuum, sometimes get things not quite right. And we just got to be careful about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you will be. Commissioner Ray D'Agostino, really appreciate your time today. Great conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.